When I joined his company, I was kind of afraid of him. You know, I didn't feel natural with him. I couldn't talk with him like I talk with you now, you know. I think if I translate now, he was for me like a superstar, superhuman being. You know, I look with a little bit scare of his decision. I think of his superiority. I was kind of crushed by that.
I danced in Paris. He said, please, I would like, she does for me, audition. And Mr. Diaghilev, I saw his mustache move a little. He said, yes, not bad, not bad. But he seems to be a little tall. I said, well, I know I'm tall, but in Russia still they accept me. I already was solist. And then it was the secretary of Mr. Diaghilev. He was small, really small man. And he said, Valichka, come up, I want to see the difference of Doubrovska and you. And I walk, and I have a short dress. I was not able to bend my knee. Then I find another trick. They put me back and back. Back and back. And somehow I did myself smaller. And then Diaghilev said, oh, you are not so much taller.
I merely was terrified when he came into the classroom. Of course, he wasn't even looking at me, but it doesn't make the slightest difference. We never knew what he thought, because he said very little. He looked a lot sometimes, but he said very little. But it was just a great figure in one's life, something that I'd never experienced before in the commercial world in London. And all I can say is that my first impressions of him are one of complete awe and nothing else.
He is a great entrepreneur of that time. He was not a choreographer. He was not a composer. He didn't compose the music. He didn't make the dancing. But he made us, I mean, I must say, if it wouldn't be for him, I wouldn't be here. I started there.
When I came in, I didn't speak anything but English. And that was one of the first things that Diaghilev decided. So a French tutor was brought for me to start to teach me French. And you see what, for me, perhaps all of you didn't realize, all the calls used to go up in Russian on the board. And so I learned by sight the names of the ballets in Russian, and I think it was Shura wrote for me my own name in Russian. So when the names were put up, you remember how they used to go up? I would know whether I was required, and I used to always look for Markova, wasn't it? It would be, yes?
When I was very, very young, I was in the ballet school in Moscow, Nilidova, very famous one. And one day, Diaghilev came there to see the dancers, you know. But I was much too tall for it, to be a ballerina, you know. I wanted only to make a kind of exercise, nice gestures, you know. My mother said, why you go to the I said, look here, before I said, give me the sugar, please. Now I will ask you, give me the sugar, please.
Well, it's very helpful for a lady to be that elegant.
So that was that fun. And she asked me to sit when Diaghilev looked first on all the dancers, sit next to him and start to talk to her. Because I was a little bit more maybe educated than the other ones, I don't know what. But I was in such a state of admiration that Diaghilev, we heard about him already all the time, came suddenly and I was sitting next to, that I don't remember if we had a big conversation.